Hello, this is F2 Fan 5000. Welcome to my Formula 3 Bahrain weekend roundup. This, obviously, the main story of the weekend is the continued dominance of Rafael Camara. But before we get there, there's a few other stories we need to talk about because F3 is a 30 strong grid. And I think going into this weekend, the biggest story probably in all of motorsport for me. No matter what happened in the F1 Bahrain Grand Prix or Alex Dunn dominating Formula 2 or whatever happened, or Kyle Kirkwood winning IndyCar, but for me the biggest story, the most perplexing, I'm struggling to wrap my head around, is Freddie Slater joining AIX. I know it's probably only for one race, but it's just such a strange combination. But and AIX are just such a strange team. They they're doing well in Formula 3 at the moment. They have plenty of points on the board, but their two main drivers don't have any points. All their points have come from guest drivers doing the one-off round from Nikita Veteran in Melbourne, and now Freddie Slater getting a sprint race podium on his F3 debut. It's a bizarre team. Sometimes they look like the quickest car out there, in other races they're so slow. I don't know what to think of AIX. They're crazy. Yeah, but Freddie Slater impressed. He qualified in the top 10. He converted that to a reverse grid sprint race podium. He fought very well. Only the speed of Nikola Solov, he wasn't able to hold on to that sprint race win, but I don't think that matters. He's put himself on the map for sure. In fact, if I'm being honest, I feel as though, especially the British media, they don't embrace Freddie Slater enough. This guy is really exciting. He's at least as exciting as Kimi Antonelli, and uh, you don't hear about him. Uh, he's done it. He's done a great job, and I want to talk about Prema. Prema were nowhere, and what's happening with them? I know Bahrain is a bogey circuit for them since the ground effects era, but that was shocking. Ugo Chukwu, I have no idea what happened. Towards the end of the race, he's falling through the field. Was it tyres? Was it fatigue? Or was it a car problem? We don't know, but that was disastrous. And Badoa and Noel Leon were struggling. There's no points. I mean, that's sort of hilarious when you think about it. Freddie Slater has more points than the whole Premier team, and looking at this form, I don't know when they're going to get a big bag of points. It might turn around for them come the next race, but they've been slow in Melbourne. They've been slow in Bahrain, and that brings me to Trident. Obviously, Trident have been the best performing team, obviously with the best performing driver, Rafael Camara, and he's just done a sensational job. But when you look at Stromstead and Wirtz, they're not as high up this weekend as they were in Melbourne. So I don't think Trident were as strong in Bahrain as they were in Australia, Melbourne. And then when you look last year, I think the next race is in Imola, isn't it? Last year, Trident were 1, 2, 3 on the grid. So for Camara to have a dominant win in Bahrain, where Trident probably may not have had the fastest car, at least, even if they did, it wasn't by the same margin. For him to dominate here is an excellent job. And I don't see, and when you look at Trident's form at in F3 at Imola last year. I don't see how he can be stopped. And this F3 championship goes by quickly, you know. You just blink and it's like, oh man, it's almost over. Like, I mean, think about the end of July. We're getting towards the end of April now. By the end of July, they'll have done 9 of the 10 races. They really don't have enough races in F3, but that. My point is, after 20% or 1/5 of the season, Kamara is so far ahead. Trident is so far ahead. It's going to take a big effort for the other teams to catch up. Now, I know in a series like this, things can change, can yo-yo very quickly. However, I just, where they are at now, they've done all the, as far as I'm aware, they've done all the testing, right? They did the pre-season testing in Barcelona. They've also done in-season testing in Bahrain. Whereas, I don't know where the other teams have a chance to catch up, but maybe they will. There's a fair gap until Imola. I just don't see it happening. I think Kamara and Trident will run away. I think we'll see Stromstead back in the podium in Imola. But here, I suppose he's done well to salvage some points. Another point I want to get onto is qualifying. And we saw Christian Ho from Singapore put his formerly Genza, now Dam's car fourth on the grid. And right behind him was Bruno Del Pino. This is a very significant moment in junior motorsport, especially out there in Europe, but of course worldwide. Why do I say that? Because these two drivers are graduates from Euro Cup 3. Euro Cup 3 has only started in 2023 and they're already providing a high level of graduate to come to Formula 3. We've seen some, so now Euro Cup 3 is getting that status where it's up there with Formula Regional European Championship, which by the way is losing its Alpine engines, ironically. And GB3 also in recent years has come on as a strong proving ground for young drivers, but now there's competition from Euro Cup 3. So I think this year there'll be a lot of eyes on Mateo Colnaghi and Mashik Gladish over there in Euro Cup 3, seeing how they go. And I'm sure these F3 teams, if those two drivers do well, will be keen to get the signature of those two drivers. So yeah, Euro Cup 3 is putting itself on the map here. And Christian Ho did a very good job. He got points in both races. He looked a little bit, new boy, a little bit tentative in wheel-to-wheel racing. He was overtaken by some of the more experienced drivers. But at the end of the day, he's demolished his teammates, especially Matthias Zagazeta. Now, Zagazeta, I'll have to bring here for criticism. He's an experienced Formula 3 driver. He's finished, I believe, 7th in or 5th, something like that in the Formula Regional Oceania Championship. And to me, that's not a strong grid. If you're finishing behind Nikita Johnson and Zach Scular, and you're an experienced driver, that's not good for you. And he's also finished behind Patrick Hoitzenroder, I believe. So I think that's damning. And his first 2 weekends have been shocking. I think he's been behind Nicola Lacorte, who barely scored a point last season in Freca. I mean, he scored points, but hardly, like 2 or 3 points, that's all. So I think Matthias Zagazeta has been very disappointing this season as a whole. That's just showing up in Formula 3, qualifying on the back row of the grid, having no pace. I'm sorry, at this moment he doesn't look like the next, Joshua Dirksen that can carry an underdog country like Peru on his back. However, let's see how the season progresses, but I'm not impressed. And then mixed fortunes at ART after a slow start for the team as a whole in Melbourne. Tuka Tarpinen has come out swinging, scored a lot of points. I believe he got a podium here in Bahrain. He has no answer for Rafael Camara. But the other two drivers, like Lawrence Van Hoopen and James Wharton, they're back markers. I mean, what's going on? James Wharton is a Formula 4 UAE champion, the Formula Regional European Championship runner-up last year, and now he's a back marker in ART. ART is a good team. It's just all jumbled up, the order. It's crazy. Lawrence Van Hoopen last year was impressive, but this year he hasn't scored a point yet. He looks lost. So I don't know what's going on over there at ART. I could say the same for Roden. Now, I think Callum Boyson drove an excellent race. I don't think Roden have the long run pace of Trident, but in the first few laps he fought valiantly to try and stay in the lead, to overtake Camara. It didn't work out in the end. However, I think that sort of performance should see him, if he keeps that up, he should be well inside the top 10 of the championship by the end of the season, and he should also be in the box seat for a good drive in F2 next season. In fact, I think he's already ready for F2. I look at that seat next to Alex Dunn, uh, and I see Cordeal struggling. I think, well, now that Mansell's gone, just promote Callum Boyson. He looks ready. But, in saying that, sometimes drivers have their careers ruined by jumping to F2 too quickly, too many expectations, and getting harshly judged. Oh, why aren't you winning in your first season? Blah, blah, blah. So maybe a second season of F3 doesn't hurt. If he becomes a regular finisher in the top 5, finishes in the top 10 in the championship, probably in the top 5, maybe that's good for him. In pre-season, I thought Campos looked the strongest team, but they were struggling here. I think it was good for them to come away with Nikola Solov having a sprint race win. And who else can I say? Mari Boyer had long run pace. Intra-Zach sort of a little bit disappointing. Yeah, they didn't do it the business in qualifying, and they were on the back foot. High tech. I mean, I don't know what happened there. Stenson was solid in the sprint race, and then just fell off in the feature race. Dufek fell off, no pace whatsoever. Gerard G lost the whole weekend. But the worst one was Prema. Like, Ukachukwu finished about a minute off the lead in what, a 20-something race around Bahrain in F3. That's massive. I don't know what happened, and the other two drivers, look at Brando Badawa, so fast in Formula Regional last year. Even Ukachukwu was fast in Formula Regional Middle East at the beginning of this season. Now they're just back markers. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm sure they'll be faster in Imola, but how much faster? When are they going to overtake Freddie Slater's 10 points? Or maybe he'll come back for another go and put more points on the board, and Premier will remain pointless. I mean, yeah, it's amazing. And VAR gone off the boil. Noel was lost. Santiago Ramos had a lap time deleted. Uh, no one in the points. Yeah, Van Amersfoort lost. Tim Tramnitz, that's and Alessandro Giusti, they're very quick in the long run pace. Tramnitz qualified 13th, disappointing, but he's come up for a podium in the feature race. Fantastic. I figured that Tramnitz would be one to look out for this year. I think he's been a little bit disappointing, especially in qualifying. Hopefully, he can keep that sort of performance up. Giusti also, the rookie, looked very fast in the long run pace. So it's looking, they're fairly solid. I think Tramnitz is second. Tramnitz is definitely second in the championship. And yeah, and then, but I don't know, they're all like Rafael Camara has 56 points on the board. Except for Tramnitz, that's more than double any of the other drivers. But that battle for second in the championship is wide open. I think Tramnitz could get it with consistency. Solov looks very fast. I think Solov will come back stronger, so maybe he's going to get second in the championship. Voisin, you can't count out. Turka Tarpanen, we know he's very fast. He's a very fast driver. Um, Probably people I forgot to mention. I'm sorry. It's a 30 strong grid. I can't remember all of it. But, you know, there's just so many surprises this year, so many disappointments. Uh, yeah, Van Hoopen, Wharton, all of Prema. It's a shock, you know. What's another strong team? Right, it's Louis Sharp. Louis Sharp is like was a rookie GB3 champion, and now he's nowhere. He's just lost at the back of the grid with Roman Belinsky, both struggling, while Voisin is leading the race. You know, it's just a surprise. I think about the teams. Trying to think, MP. Campos I covered. Yeah, I think I've covered the main ones anyway. I may have forgotten somebody. If I am, I'm sorry. But I think that's the main part. The racing was exciting as always in F3. Uh, I just expect Camara and Trident to continue to dominate. As I said, we might see a fight back a little bit from Solov, from Tramnitz. I think is going to be consistent, but I don't think he's going to be fighting for wins very often. I don't see what else there is. Tarpanen is the one probably that might develop stronger and stronger over the season, but maybe not. I mean, ART are a little bit in fluctuation of form. Voisin is one to watch. That's about it, really. I can't say much about the others. Sometimes they have a good race and sometimes they don't. It's very unusual. I think the more interesting thing is we don't know who's going to be driving for AIX in Imola, and going forward they're going to have a different driver every race, and that driver scores points. And I mean, Javier Segura is a good driver. I don't know why he's struggling so much. And but it's just funny, the AIX situation. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I like it. I like a bit of entertaining back markers. Well, I think that's enough for today. Uh, Hope you enjoyed the video, and I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that are like, oh, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Please. Oh, and my Discord, and find me on TikTok, and all that stuff. I don't want, but if you have comments, because it's interesting, right, to discuss about Formula 3, Formula 2. We're into this, like, you know, exciting feeder series racing. Just have comments, I'm happy with comments. We can keep the discussion going. I like that, okay? Your comment is more than welcome, especially criticism. I'm happy to be criticised. If you think I'm wrong, whatever. Okay, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video.